An all-new Eye on the Bay in HD starts right now.
Welcome to Eye on the Bay. I'm Brian Hackney, and I am standing on a 300-foot thick glacier, fast flowing toward Juneau, Alaska. It's part 2 of our Alaskan adventure. And what are we doing up here? Well, once we learned that this part of Alaska, the area around Juneau, is closer than we thought, I mean, it's just a 2-hour flight to Seattle and a 2-hour flight to Juneau, we decided, what the heck, let's check it out. And what a trip it's been.
It's like being on another world, actually. It just doesn't look like the planet Earth.
I've already seen black bears and spawning salmon, tipped a quaff of Alaskan amber. And while I got close to a glacier in part 1, tonight we're going to get much, much closer. You can't walk on the ice with just regular old boots. You've got to have glacier boots so that you don't slip. And those, my friend, are glacier boots, theoretically slip-proof. This is exciting. We're about to take a helicopter ride to the top of magnificent Mendenhall Glacier. Let's go. A glacier, by the way, is a giant mass of ice that stays frozen year-round. This one is 12 miles long, up to 1.5 miles wide, and 1,800 feet deep.
In order to get to the glacier, we just have to head a few miles outside of Juneau, but you have to rise like an elevator to climb from sea level to about 4,000 feet to get over the ridge and then onto the glacier.
And welcome to the Mendenhall Glacier.
Now, they don't just dump you alone on the glacier, you explore it with a guide. In our case, Benjamin Cotter. And you are a glacier tour guide.
I am a glacier tour guide.
Is that what you put on your 1040 form?
I put glacier guide. You know, I stick with glacier guide.
All right, cool. Now, how thick is the part of the glacier that we're walking on now?
This section right here is going to be about 300 feet.
Okay.
So if you're concerned about falling through, that's not a worry. The Juneau ice field where this glacier begins, 10 miles up glacier from here, it's going to be 1,500 square miles of ice. So the ice up there gets to 4,500 feet thick. That's almost a mile.
Up until about the 16th century, this was all running water. But then the harmless-sounding Little Ice Age froze it solid. So we're actually walking then on top of a frozen waterfall.
Exactly. You are moving right now. You are walking on a frozen river, a gigantic river of ice. We're actually moving right now.
Oh yeah?
It's slow enough that you can't tell, but you're flowing down this valley at about 1.5 feet per day.
Wow.
These crevasses, for instance, open and close all the time.
And look at the blue. It's just blue underneath your feet. You are walking on a frozen river that's like 300 feet thick. Okay, this looks slightly slippery, but we're okay, right? Now these crevasses go down how deep?
These crevasses go down to 150 feet deep. So you definitely don't want to be falling into them. If you come right here, you don't want to get any closer, but you can see the waterfall going right into a moulin.
Oh, wow. There are some weird sights up here. Oh my God, this is like a water world.
This is where they got the idea for the lazy river in water parks, actually. This one is kind of the lazy river of doom.
What are some of the crazy things tourists have asked you about the glacier?
I think my favorite has to be, where are the penguins?
You ever lose anybody up here?
You know, we normally like to say that we lose about 9 or 10 tourists per trip, but the truth is, we haven't lost anyone yet.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Hopefully we'll stick to that record.
Make sure this is not a first.
Yeah, I know. Watch out for the cameraman. It's been frozen 500 to 700 years, so this is basically a taste of the past.
My God, this water was frozen at or before the time Columbus discovered America.
Exactly.
Pure enough to drink?
Yeah.
Can we?
Well, it depends on your form.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you can cup your hands, or you can do like the guides.
Oh my God!
I think you should get down there and do it.
Oh. Drinking water on top of a glacier. Gotta love it.
But what I like about this spot is it gives you that view right down. You can see the deep blue of the crevasses as the glacier falls away.
You know, this is amazing. You get to a certain point in life where you think you've seen it all. I've never seen anything like this. This is stunning. That was great. And now we're going to head to someplace called Pearson's Pond. Let's go, Elizabeth. When it comes to places to stay in Juneau, you've got a couple of options. Downtown, there's the Baranoff, kind of fancy. We stayed at the Prospector, very pleasant. But near the base of the glacier we just flew over sits the only 4-diamond property in the entire state of Alaska.
We're just 3 minutes from the glacier and just 12 minutes from downtown.
This is Pearson's Pond, created by owner Diane Pearson.
I was working for the university, traveling all over. My office was 1,000 miles away, and so I got tired of staying in, standard hotels and all suites and homestay bed and breakfast, and I thought there's got to be a better way. So I created, as a woman, for women business travelers, a lodging property that would accommodate that. And then, of course, I realized that men like to travel too.
Once in a while we do. We do get out. Did you design this?
I did. I'm a master gardener.
Yeah.
And I just have a love and passion for a little bit of design and pretty much of a green thumb.
Okay. You ever have bears wander on the property?
Absolutely. See these berries right here?
Yeah, they love them.
They love them.
You look at the garden, the stream, the lake. I love the hot tub. Sunset Magazine has to have been here.
They have been here.
Have they really?
Yes, they have.
No kidding.
Yes. Well, it's the only 4-diamond property in Alaska. So AAA goes in and inspects all the properties, and they chose us to be the only 4-diamond property in Alaska. So it's an honor.
The inn's proximity to the glacier is convenient for Diane's side job.
I'm in a helicopter 2 or 3 times a week. I do weddings on the glacier.
You did a wedding on a glacier?
I did, yes. So we fly up in a helicopter, land on the glacier, we put crampons on, and usually the bride and groom are in formal dress. It's a blast.
That sounds like it. I mean,
it's just a small property, but it's fun. We love our guests.
Well, you did a gorgeous job with it, Diane, really. Coming up, we go kayaking Alaskan style. And on the water, man, do we get lucky. Oh my God! That's unbelievable! My God, 2 for 1! Welcome back to Eye on the Bay. I'm Brian Hackney. And before we go forward with our Alaskan adventure, let's take a step back in time. Better yet, let's take a ride back in time. John George takes visitors back to Juneau's early days on board this old-timey steamboat.
But this boat was actually built at the turn of the century, in 2000. We did have a turn of the century then. It's 9 years old. It is a modern replica, but the engineering, 150 years old. It is a real wood-fired steamboat. There's nothing fake about it. We get a lot of old timers that come on this that they never hear a word of the tour because they're looking at that engine. It's really neat.
For those that do listen, are treated to a taste of the gold rush.
Joe Juneau and Dick Harris sent over from Sitka in 1880 to check it out. In the vein of quartz are lumps of gold the size of beans and peas, and that's what started it. Right away, miners started coming in, making claims.
The gold rush is long gone, but there are still nuggets in them thar hills. Even today, you'll see prospectors panning for gold and finding some, just like they did more than a century ago. Now we're at Amalga Harbor, about 10 miles north of downtown Juneau, and it is time to go kayaking with Ed, right? Brian Hackney. You got the kayaks on the boat?
Yeah, ready to go kayaking?
All right, yep. We're heading out to kayak with the guys from Above and Beyond Alaska. Sean motors us to a beautiful spot. And finally, we arrive at Gull Island, slowly pull the boat into shore. We don't see any gulls on the island, but have a look at the bald eagle. Hey man, that's a good omen. Let's get the kayaks in the water. And look at this. I'm kayaking on the longest fjord in North America. And what is a fjord for viewers back in the Bay Area who don't have them?
Okay, so a fjord
is a valley that was carved by glacial action.
Here's what's extraordinary to me. We're in the Pacific Ocean, it's as smooth as glass, and Branson, pan off that way. We are totally alone in this huge body of water, or so it seems. I mean, we've got it all to ourselves. I mean, you want to get away from a traffic jam on 680? You found the right place. The water is like glass. Is this rare?
Oh, extremely rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the wintertime, this is a very formidable body of water.
We're completely misrepresenting the typical kayak experience to our viewers back at home.
Well, usually we'll go out and have a nice day of paddling, but we're definitely getting quite a bit more gear put on before we go out.
We're now in North Pass, still in the Pacific Ocean, and this is a prime spot for spotting a humpback whale. And in fact, look at the tail on that one. Wow. Did you see that? That is amazing. I mean, Sean was able to pilot us within about 100, and there it goes again. And that's why a lot of the tours out here guarantee that you're going to see one when you go out whale watching.
Then, as we're getting ready to leave, a double treat.
Oh my God! 2 for 1. 2 humpback whales. We'll never see anything like that again in our lives.
That was pretty special.
That's amazing.
We return the kayaks to a place called Auk Bay, a great spot off the tourist track. Funny thing about Auk Bay, every year this rumor spreads that Barbra Streisand is on a yacht here in the harbor. She's never actually been seen, but the rumor resurfaces every year. By the way, if you get to Auk Bay, grab a burger at Hot Bite. Worth the trip just to see their milkshake menu. When we come back, we head into the rainforest to find the land of the upside-down trees. That's next. Welcome back to Eye on the Bay. I'm Brian Hackney, wrapping up an incredible visit to Alaska. And one thing we haven't even talked about yet is the fact that this southeast patch of the state is genuine rainforest.
We are in the Tongass National Rainforest. It's the 3rd largest rainforest left in the world.
Part of that rainforest is on private land, like this bit owned by Cindy and Steve Bowie.
We have a clear cut on this side of us, and then a clear cut on the other side of us. And we just wanted to preserve that last little 50 acres in between.
And they've done more than just preserve it. The Bowies have transformed a muddy landslide into Glacier Gardens Rainforest Adventure. Part garden tour, part forest safari.
They board onto a little covered shuttle with the guide. The guide takes them through the rainforest. So we just cut a little pathway through, and it takes them all the way up to the 580-foot level of Thunder Mountain.
We have the 5-star Squirrel Hotel on the left. So everything beyond this point here is growing completely natural. We don't do any planting or any grooming out here. Yet I still get a lot of people come through and ask me how long it took to plant all of these bushes.
It's a fun way to tuck in a real visit to a real rainforest. And though the guides can be a little corny.
And there's a little snotberry growing in there. There's also the twisted stalk of the watermelon berry. They are edible, but they're not very good, so we call them the snotberries.
You will see something I haven't seen anywhere else, the mysterious upside-down trees.
The upside-down trees were actually created by mistake. My husband had rented an excavator, and he hit one of the stumps that was there laying on the ground, and it actually did quite a bit of damage to the excavator. So in his frustration, he grabbed it by the roots and stuffed it into the ground, and it stood there with the roots kind of hanging down, and he looked and said, wow, that would make a really awesome flower pot.
And that, at long last, is going to wrap up our two-part trip to Juneau, Alaska. And I have to tell you, quite frankly, when I was told that we were going to do this trip, my question was, why Juneau? Why go to there of all places? And it was a question we asked when we got here. It is not a question I need to ask anymore. And if you want more information about anything that you've seen during the course of the show, log on to our website, cbs5.com/Eye on the Bay. I'm Brian Hackney. Really appreciate your watching. Good night. Eye on the Bay gives a special thanks to the Juneau Convention and Visitors Bureau for the gracious invitation and for their warm hospitality.
Promotional consideration provided by the Prospector Hotel and by Alaska Airlines, with daily service from the Bay Area to 7 destinations in Southeast Alaska.